that ability for the African spirit to always rise up. You step on it, it comes back over here as the steel band. You step on it here, it comes back up here as Baptist religion. You step on it, it comes back over there as Shango. And so it doesn't die. It comes back in reggae, came back in jazz, comes in the blues. You know, you can't kill the spirit of the original spirit of a nation. You can't kill that.
Within most people, there's this yen to want to build something, make something, be part of something. If you are in a mass camp, even just sticking a sequin helps with the big picture.
Carnival itself is a language, and that's very contemporary to the time that it's in. And so it's very important that you use it, and in so doing, you are sticking to the tradition.
It seems to me that especially carnival art is ignored in England, and that's a very serious problem. So that carnival is just talked about in two ways, either as a great street party or as a public order problem. And it's neither. It's much more than that.
Elimu is Swahili for knowledge or education. We sought to engage with the young people, many who were very much disaffected with school, with society, and in conflict with the police. Bring them into an arts project that had carnival as its focus.
This year's theme, Can Brûlé. It's the patois version of Can Brûlé. It's two French words meaning burnt cane or burning cane. When there was a fire on a large sugar estate in the Caribbean, the managers would go around to ask for the slaves from the other estates to help with putting the fires out. After that was done, they would then have a bit of a jolly time, really. They might sing or dance. That then was taken further. Under the abolition of slavery, people would go through the town at night with lighted candles, which were symbolic of the burning cane. And they would be parodying the masters, and some would be dressed up, you know, having high airs and so on. And so it's quite a powerful thing, really, that people who were seen as disenfranchised really were hanging on to something that meant a lot. This mask here is for the boiling pot, where I said to you it's all indicating all the differences and so on, and it is worn like this, and you get the sense of flame.
Although Mahogany, we use a lot of contemporary themes in our work, we actually use a traditional method to explore that theme. Bling is a word that's used by young people. It's about what they look personally, how they improve their appearance personally. And this year is a very special year for England because we're actually receiving the Olympics, the Olympic flag on Children's Carnival Day. So what Bling is saying to young people that here you are, very interested in what you look like, and for the next 4 years you need to be very interested in what your skills are like and how you express that, and in developing that and blinging that up. The story is told in a very dramatic way. I'm thinking about the way that people see the story unfold, like a tableau. And the designers worked out in a range of ways, not only in terms of the story, but in terms of the scale of things and the way color works. So, you know, if I start with very bright colors at the beginning, do I take them through something very different at the end with very bright colors? Do I have a build-up of color from white through to red, through to... I'm thinking of it in that manner, and I'm imagining the whole process as it snakes through the grove. Everything about us is as a direct result of things that happen in history. I'm in England, and I'm allowed to be in England because the British went in, they got the slaves, took them to Trinidad, and Trinidad became... There's a circle that has happened, and I understand that history, and I know that history. And I feel very, very strongly that if I don't step out on the street, I do not pay homage to those people who fought for their freedom.
The origins of Carnival very much was rooted in mimicry, where the slaves were tending to mimic the slave plantation owners and how they celebrated events, whether it's balls or what. And therefore, the tradition of the use of the mask, the face mask, was very much an important feature, because that mask hid your identity, and therefore you can do anything behind that mask.
In the Caribbean, there's a whole story around the devil that appears in lots of carnivals. The face of that devil is a snide, big-nosed face of really the slave owner. And so we look today and we say, oh, look, there's Lucifer, and we look at the book, and if you don't know anything about the history, you just think that that's Lucifer. But those of us who know that that represents a slave master. The slaves have said, the worst thing that you have taught us that exists in the world is the devil. And you know what? That's what you are. You are the devil. That is why telling the story using Carnival is very clever. What you see is not what is.
Then you've got the steel band music. That very much, there's a great story behind that, how young black boys in their own country, in the Caribbean, were forbidden by the British authorities to come together, and yet still they managed to come together and inadvertently discover that if they tuned an oil drum in a particular way, it can make a marvelous sound. And so when they are playing the music, all of that history and that heritage is put into the development of that particular art form in Carnival.
As a designer, I have a story that will have a relationship with the spectator, but I don't particularly want the people in the band to be performing for other people. I want, if they could perform with their own spirit, that is what will transcend and make a powerful statement to the person looking on. That's what's important about the performance of Carnival. It's spontaneous, and it needs to come from within.
It does oscillate between the most refined statements of high culture, actually, real operatic culture, if you like, and the rather vulgar, burlesque kind of statements that you might find in a striptease club. You know, I mean, yes, it does oscillate and move across all sorts of class-based notions of culture, all sorts of status-based notions of culture. But that's what's so beautiful about Carnival. It actually integrates culture. It sees culture as a holistic thing, something that relates to everybody, irrespective of class, race, gender, whatever it is. Everyone can get something out of Carnival.
The uniqueness of Carnival is that interaction between the spectator and the artist, and it's like the key, the secret of Carnival. The spectator can not only appreciate and praise and be part of it, but they also can defend it in that political way outside of the Carnival.
Unlike going to the theatre and sitting down and somebody's dancing on stage and you're sitting, the dancer's energy should make you dance. And if I stand in front of you dancing and you stop and you look at me, I don't think I've achieved it. When I dance and I look at you and you start dancing, we've done it.
If you feel like whether you're wearing a costume or not, you still feel like you're a part of the whole family.